Good evening, welcome back to TV. I do apologise, guys. I was just watching the countdown come in, and I can see all the boys dancing along to the music at the bottom of my screen. So I'm just sitting here.
You've got moves, lot.
Definitely, I've got to say, you've all got the moves. You're brilliant, guys.
You went to the post show.
I'm glad I'm not the only one doing it.
Sorry, guys. So joining me tonight is I've got my newest Team Cannon Chatter co-host with me, and that is Lee. How are you, Lee?
I'm doing very well, lots. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just like, you guys are making me laugh already, and we're not even a minute in, so we're
in for a good show, guys.
No, definitely.
Have you got much choice left after the other night loss?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I could hear you.
But sitting below me on the screen right now, I've got Adam. Adam had his debut in my last show. How are you, Adam?
Thank you. Very well. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Professional. Come on, lots.
Sorry, guys. And also sitting back on my screen, finally, who's also a regular guest of mine, is Matt. How are you, Matt?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very, very well, thank you. I'm very pleased with the result.
See, I'm going the wrong way now.
Oh gosh! Now I've introduced everybody. I am going to find my intro video, and that is made by AWFC Clips on Twitter. If you're not following them, please go and give them a follow, and I will see you on the other side, guys.
It is in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina goal.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Good evening, welcome back to Cannon Chatter TV. If you missed the introductions, on the screen next to me, I've got Lee, and below me, I've got Adam, and on the other side down the bottom, I've got Matt. So I'm going to start this one on a bit of a stinker, I'm afraid, before we jump into Wolfsburg. But the North London derby's been cancelled, and it's not fantastic because we all heard about the Chelsea game. They all came down with COVID, and it was kind of inevitable that it was going to be cancelled. But me being me, because I had tickets, and I know Adam had tickets as well, we kind of were holding out, weren't we, Adam?
Yeah, it was sort of yeah. We tried to deny that it was going to happen. That maybe it'll be like, if you think back to that Liverpool game in the Carabao Cup, when it was all like, oh, there were false positives, and maybe there was a chance, and because it was last minute, we sort of got on, and like later in the day, and thought maybe, and then yes, Christmas got cancelled. And it's a real kicker, because it was the game that we knew everyone was going to go to. I say everyone, but like a lot more people. We had 3 stands opened up. We were looking at well over 10,000 attendance, maybe over 15,000 attendance. It would have been an amazing occasion. Looking forward to meeting you chaps, obviously, and Chapesses. And they pulled the plug from under our feet Friday lunchtime. I know people who've come from outside the country, flown over just for this game, and it's distraught. The last time we had these cancellations, we had obviously the winter ones last season, which didn't really affect us because we couldn't go. We had the COVID and the storms. I wasn't fully invested in Tina, it didn't affect me, but this was a real gut punch. This was a real blow, and I hope it will be at the Emirates the second time around when they reschedule it, and I hope the people who did book the tickets do honour that and go again, but there's no guarantee. But it is a real blow, especially on this weekend when there's no men's club football. It's just the women's, and Arsenal won't be at the party, and it's a real shame.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, there's obviously most of the fixtures are all still going ahead. apart from ours, and it's kind of debilitating. But it's a case of we know Chelsea are going to play their extra game in hand, and they could go level on points with us this weekend.
They could overtake us.
Yeah, overtake us. That's what I should be saying.
Yeah.
But we still have that game. Well, I think we still have one game in hand with just Spurs.
Well, no, because what happens now is our games in hand cancel out, so we will be on the same level of games because their game in hand got cancelled as well. They'll play in excess, so we'll both have games in hand against Spurs. So they won't be cancelled at the same time, but we'll be level game wise anyway.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that, Adam. So I'm just wondering what now? Looking at the fixtures ahead, what do you think is going to happen now, Matt?
It's a hard one, really. I was also going to go to this game, and I'm a bit annoyed about it because it would have been a long day for me, just by myself. Coming in to London, I would have got in around 11 o'clock in the morning, so that would have given me a lot of time to just relax before the game. And it was a real shame, really, that it couldn't go ahead. Fixtures-wise, I think this is the problem. Where is it going to fit in? Is it going to be not depending on the Wolfsburg game? For example, if we do progress, that will be the interesting thing, because if we do progress, then we've got another round of group games that we can't have. My biggest initial reaction would be that it might be wedged between that Villa and West Ham game last game. But then Chelsea will also be playing Tottenham, but they might have a bit more leniency as well, which is a bit of a shame, really. But Tottenham now have 2 games where they can play pretty much anywhere because they've got nothing to play for. We've got an FA Cup, a Champions League, and a League to all go for. So it's a bit interesting one. I'm not really too sure where we can really have it because there's going to be an international break soon. So it's quite hard to pick and choose where we're going to have it unless they turn around and decide to perhaps hold the FA Cup's on the 15th. So again, we've got like that little week before the FA Cup where we could put a picture in, but then it kind of defaults to the game of the season because I think this is the closest WSL run between 2 teams, between Chelsea and Arsenal. I think City finished 4 points behind Chelsea last season, and this might be decided by 1 point. I mean, imagine playing one more game and almost not winning the league. It's kind of unthinkable if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been leading all season. I think I saw a clip of an interview with Emma Hayes, and she said, "Oh, we've been behind all season," and I kind of sat there with a bit of a smile on my face because she forgets where she started, and I just have a real dislike for her for some reason, and it's just irritating. Lee, what do you think of the Tottenham postponement?
Firstly, I feel for all the fans that were going to join everyone at the ground. Dreadful shame. And I know it's come with a little bit of notice, but as guys mentioned, people have made a point of coming over, travelling down even to the UK, etc. I think it's a real shame. It's going to be very difficult to reschedule it. We were talking about that at lunchtime, with fixtures coming up and everything. Very difficult, but kind of inevitable. I think we all expected when news came out on Wednesday, Chelsea Spurs going to the wayside. I thought it's probably not going to be good. It's not going to going from personal experience. It wiped me out for about a week and a half. So it was horrible. Honestly, guys, it was absolutely dreadful. My little girl got it as well. So. Poor Anna, my wife, bless her, she had just both to deal with, and it wasn't fun.
I think that does get sort of lost in it. There is obviously the people. The bigger issue is that Spurs players are ill. I mean, that sort of gets lost in the maelstrom. I mean, yes, we're aghast and upset that we've lost probably the biggest game, from a rivalry perspective, although that rivalry doesn't quite exist yet, but certainly it's our favourite game of the season. Bigged up as this big party at the Emirates. But the bigger problem is that Spurs, who have been doing very well this season, as much as we hate to say it, they're massively handicapped now because they've had a COVID outbreak. And I hope so. All I can say is I hope their players make a full recovery because, it's a horrible thing to catch.
Oh no, definitely. I completely agree with you there. I mean, when I was upset this morning, I know I put a bit of a tweet out about it, wondering why they couldn't get hold of their academy and put the academy up. But in terms of fairness, I think that would just completely destroy their confidence before they've even hit senior player status, so to speak. In terms of rearrangements, I do have a really bad feeling about it when there's going to be arranged. I have a feeling it's going to be decided after next Thursday.
The second leg against
which is
Wolfsburg.
Because if we do go through, the Aston Villa game is going to be moved because that's when the second leg of the semi-final will be. At the moment, it's why when I'm looking at the pictures, I'm seeing TBC, so it could be potentially be moved. So we'll see how we go from there. The thing is, we could reschedule it in the next 2 weeks if possible, but it's World Cup qualifiers, and we would lose half our team, and Spurs would be at full capacity.
There's no way they'll put it in international break. I think the biggest school of thought is that it'll be midweek at some point, and unfortunately that's going to lead to drop in attendance like we saw with the Champions League game. It won't draw. It's a shame. It's bad luck. It's one of those things. It's tempted just to blame Spurs and I was talking to his name Nancy Gilliam about this and sort of said this could be something that will actually spark the rivalry further. The way that Spurs obviously drew blood against us at their ground, and now they've not for any fault of their own, but because of something that's happened to them, it's massively impacted our enjoyment and excitement. So it might be something that helps push this rivalry further. But as it is to sort of maybe instinctively blame them, it's unfortunate. It's bad luck. It's our team that's fallen short this time. We just got to stay positive, and that's probably a poor choice of words in this case, but stay positive for the future.
That is I think that was probably just a little bit punny for me, Adam.
That's poor choice of words.
I think if this game does get rescheduled, I think we're probably going to get stitched up by the TV companies. They're going to want to put it on the TV because it's one of the biggest clashes between two very old rivals.
I can't see it hiding on the FA player.
No.
BBC are the ones that miss out this time, isn't it? So
yes,
I'd assume that they'll try something.
Oh no, most definitely. I mean, I just can see us playing maybe 3 games, like 2 games, very close together because of the rearrangements, because of the TV scheduling, and we all know that Jonas has not been very happy with the scheduling. So, but
one thing I was going to say, just really quick, there is a bigger issue which I've just been watching on the news about the COVID and cases being as high as they've been since quite a little while. So I'm sure actually it's not just the Spurs ladies that are going to be affected. Do you know what? It could go anywhere really. The figures are higher than they've been since January, I believe. So let's just hope everyone gets through okay. And again, best wishes to everyone that's affected.
Absolutely, that's a very good point, Lee. Because it's Spurs now, but it could be Chelsea next week. It could be us next week. We could suddenly have to cancel. We get to cancel the Wolfsburg game if we get a COVID spike in our training camp. So I think it's a good point. There is definitely it's not exactly a wave. I'd say probably more of a tremor because thankfully, hopefully everyone's their vaccinations and their boosters, and we've got a sort of a lid on this sort of thing with the immunity. But I mean, I know for a fact a person I was with when we went to that Wolfsburg game, I said I went with some friends at work. Well, one of them has since tested positive, so we all had to do. Yes, we've all had to do lateral. I'm negative, so that's sort of. But I'm just saying, but people I know, left, right, and centre, are just getting it, and it's a bit of a roulette. So it could easily happen. Someone could get it, and all of a sudden Chelsea could be down, Man City could be down, Man United could be down. So I don't think this is the end. I think we'll see a raft of cancellations between now and the end of the season. I can't see Spurs being the exception here.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's also a case of this particular season. We've got the Euros coming up for the girls and for England, and it's a case of where do you fit these in, where they can have some time to train with England, and then go off to the Euros and actually compete. So I think we've got a decent chance this year. I really, really, really do. But anyway, I'm gonna move on to the next part of what we're going to be talking about. And obviously, myself and Adam went to the games, and we're both on club level. I've walked into the East Stand, gone upstairs from my free program. I've walked into the lounge, and guess who I see? The first person I see, it was Adam. I mean, it wasn't planned or unorganised.
No,
I just went, oh,
no,
hello.
no.
Just completely walked into him.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. So I'd gone up with some friends from work because they're all, well, pretty much all of them are football nuts. They're not gooners, but they are respectable of the football game. And I said, well, I can get some nice hospitality tickets, club level at the Emirates for a good price. Do you fancy going for a night out, a few beers, and maybe like a game in? And they were game for it. So yeah, we all huddled up. We got a small table, and then I just had to look up, and who comes walking into the room but Lottie in her retro gear and Buddy's Blow. So no, it was nice to finally meet up. You know, I was thinking we were going to wait until this weekend. That never happened. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's great fun for me, and I think we all had a rather good time in the end, if we not in the end.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, in terms of the atmosphere, I kind of walked in. It was noisy. Coming in, the guys, the fans downstairs were really singing. Someone was sitting in my seat, so I actually bagged myself some front row seats in block 61. So that was brilliant. But yeah, we were singing along, and on club level, you're not meant to sing. So amount of dirty looks I got. Yeah, you're not meant to sing on. You're not meant to sing on club level. Amount of dirty looks that me, myself, and Jones. Me, Joan, my friend Jonesy, and Tom got for singing. It was unbelievable.
It's the celebration police again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the celebration. Well,
I
actually had a woman sitting behind me. She was sitting there talking about the Queen for the last 25 minutes of the first half. I almost
talking about Miedemar, was she?
No, she's talking about.
That's the one.
I wish she was talking about Viv.
I like that, mate.
That was very good. But no, she was actually talking about the Queen and Charles, and I was like, "You're at a game. Look at
what position does the Queen play?"
She's on number 10.
Well, 10, but she can move in any position.
There you go.
Okay, good.
No. All right, I'm going to whiz over to these comments really quickly before we move on. Sam is, yo all, hope you're all good. I'm pre-drinking and watching the best show on YouTube. Thank you, Matt. Make sure you... Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Hit that like button for me.
America.
Sam, yeah, I hate her as well. Emma Hayes, that is. Yeah, we're completely on the same page. What was I talking about? So we've got one more leg until we can get to our first semi-final in the Champions League since 2012-13 season. How massive is this, Matt, for Arsenal as a club?
Well, it's huge. Just in general, the last time we were in the Champions League, we got knocked out by PSG. To be honest with you, I got very annoyed in that game. Joe Montemurro was in charge. That was probably the best team that we had at that time. Jill Roord, who's now playing at Wolfsburg, Danielle van der Donk playing as well. Miedemar was at her peak. And because of COVID rules and this, that, and the other, the Champions League was on hold, and PSG just came away with a 1-0 win. And it was a real shame to go out that way. There was no real fight. Compare that to this team.
2-1 win.
Oh, was it 2-1?
Yeah, Mead got one.
It was so long ago that I've forgotten what the score was. But there was there was literally no fight towards those last 10, 15 minutes, something like that, to get that second goal and try and force that extra time or try and go all the way. Whereas I see this team, especially now, the game management is a little bit better. They're more willing to go and go the distance. I mean, having Tobin Heath off the bench, she does save your games. It's not once now; it's twice.
She saves bacon.
Yeah.
Hashtag save bacon. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes next week with Beth now suspended. Let's see if Tobin sneaks in ahead, or if Katie will probably be playing. It'll be just interesting to see who takes her spot. That's for sure. But hopefully we have the mentality to go at them, because they're going to be playing in unfamiliar territory. They've never played in the men's stadium before. They usually have their own stadium in Germany.
So it's a neutral venue.
Essentially, yes. So we're playing, I would say, pretty much on a similar sort of size pitch as Wolfsburg, as the Emirates, as far as I'm aware. They might be a little bit smaller, so you might expect a few wayward passes to come and go.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, that's actually really interesting, because I was looking at the last time Arsenal went over to Wolfsburg, and back then, if you look at the only two players that I can see from that team sheet that day that are still playing is Kim Little and Jen Beattie. After than that, it's the whole team's completely changed.
Was
Kim
Nobbs
Little,
not in there as well?
I think so. She might have been on the bench. I'm not 100% sure.
Yes, she would have been very young at the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and the only person to score over there, and it's this 2-1 defeat, is Captain Little. So it should be a little tiny bit of a good memory for her to go back, but also is also that bitter sting of losing when we last went over there. But we're in the men's stadium, it might be slightly a little bit different. So I've actually managed to have a read of the program. The other night. I know I have. It's really good. You need to read it. And I've read the piece by Jonas, and he basically said they play differently to how we play over here. Over here, we play reasonably fast-paced football. But Wolfsburg, I realise that they actually play a lot faster, and I feel like this is the first time we've come up against someone that's full on counter-attacking football.
Yes.
There's no other team that we have coming up against. And they did cause us problems, but we also caused them problems. In terms, even after we went 1-0 down, we didn't give up. I always talk about this fighting spirit, and they kind of just dig their teeth in, and off they go. They're ready and fighting. But I'm gonna move on to the goal. About 18 minutes in, like first opening minutes, Beth went wide, but running down the clock in the first 20 minutes. I mean, Tabea Westmouth, she scored. She beat Mead in the air from a direct cross from Wademir, and it went straight in behind Zinsberger. I mean, there's a lot you can say about her defending, but no one's got eyes in the back of their heads. I've watched that goal about 5 or 6 times, and there's no way Beth would have saw her. I mean, what did you think of the marking, Adam?
It was so I was at the other end of the pitch where I was sat. I was very much at the Arsenal end of that particular half. It was a bit annoying to watch, because the source of that goal was started quite a few minutes back. Actually, it came from a turnover. It was actually, we talk about Wolfsburg and counter-attacking side. This is actually an Ideveld goal in reality. Lottie brings the ball out, Lottie gets swarmed, and there's a lack of an awareness there to realise the amount of players on her. She gets swarmed, she gets turned over, and with Arsenal having gone forward, preparing to build from the back, they were massively exposed and never resettled. Zinsberger made a great save for the initial shot, but Wolfsburg quick. As you said, they're rapid, they're fast, they pounced, they got the players in positions, they got the crosses in, and the defensive shape just never reorganised. Leah didn't jump for the header. I think maybe she could have done, if not to make contact, to at least obscure it, to make it difficult for Varsmouth. Mead lost her marker in the box. Like I said, it was a mess. And from where I was sitting further away, the defence felt very stagnant. There was a real sort of, it felt very much a lack of movement, lack of awareness in the box, and it felt such a cheap way to score. But when you look at it on the replay, you can see it's actually Wolfsburg pressing Arsenal very well and forcing the turnover. And that's obviously where they got their goal from. It didn't help in that first half that we see some of our passing seemed to be a bit iffy. I mean, Leah Williamson, who's got brilliant passing, she could ping it all over the place. There was a lot of times when it would ping out onto the touchline or the ball get turned over. It was rather strange to watch and rather frustrating to watch. But yeah, it was a goal. We went behind. Is that point where you sort of think, oh God, it's Barcelona Mark II? Because we had started quite well, as you said. Mead, she just 30 seconds in, she got, I wouldn't say clean through, but she was there, and it only just went wide. Had a few half chances here and there. I thought we were in it. I mean, I did say Wolfsburg were closer to our level, and this would be a proper test, and I think we were seeing that. I just wish we'd managed to get the opening goal and to go behind in what felt like in the end quite, not too cheap, but it wasn't like a worldie. It wasn't like a 25-yard curler. It was something I felt maybe we could have done better with if we'd been quicker in the passing and more aware of the players around us. But it was what it was. They went behind. Thankfully, away goals don't exist anymore, so it's just a normal goal. They haven't got an advantage from scoring. So yeah, thank God for that. But we did, we did fall behind, and it just become an uphill battle after that, especially against a Wolfsburg side who are very good defensively. They got Dominic Janssen at the back, and we all know the quality she possesses, having been played for us. And I think it was a case of it was a real, as we've seen against like Spurs and Man City. It was like, right, well, we've got to fight even harder now to get a result out of this fire, because Wolfsburg have got themselves in a brilliant position. And that was the rest of the game, was could we find that solution?
No, definitely. Lee and Matt, I know you guys watched the game from home. I mean, what were your views on how that goal went in? Because obviously I was at the halfway line, and I completely agree with what Adam's just said. The defending didn't look fantastic from where I was sitting. I mean, what did you guys think of it from at home?
So from what I saw, I think the pressure was coming. I'm going to go with pronunciation here, guys, so bear with me. Vosmut had the initial shot, which Zindberger, yes, that's right, had the
Manu.
save.
Call him Manu.
I'm learning.
You're good.
I'm learning,
say
guys.
Manu.
Right. Manu, okay, made that save, and the ball fell to Wolfsburg, and they've had it on the left-hand side. The persistent pressure I got, it had the ball coming from the left, it missed everybody. Then it goes to the right back, I think it was, who crosses the ball back in, the provider for the goal, and got the header. I've got a feeling maybe the markers were a little bit disorientated with the pressure that came, but fair enough. Went to 1-0. I think the interesting thing is afterwards they didn't fall apart. They other than that, I think it was. They did really, really well to keep it just to the one, and the game is like we said, all to play for.
No,
Yeah, just to echo some of that, I think that defending wise, we've always had some good days, some bad days. So today, so that game on Wednesday was a real test of character. Their goal comes within, I'd say, roughly about 8 to 10 seconds of when they had that first shot. When a ball's bouncing in the box, and this goes at any level, you don't really have 8 to 10 seconds to reset yourself, make sure that you've got yourself a way to react. So if a ball is floated back in, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to be able to react as quickly as you can that second time than you did the first. The fact that we gave it away, it's small little things that you can cut out of training, is things that we will learn from, and that's the important thing. I think we can look towards the next game I can't remember. It's Wednesday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. No, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday,
Thursday,
31st.
yeah.
Let days working on wrong. Yeah, we can look forward to Thursday's game quite easily and just be hoping that we are more defensively structurally sound. Just in general, I just had a quick look at the Champions League stats they've got down. Wolfsburg have scored 2 or more goals in 7 of their 8 Champions League games this season, and Wolfsburg have only lost 2 of their 12 matches against English clubs and failed to only score in 1 of those 12 games. So it's going to be another one where it could probably be a 1-1 extra time, penalties, or it could be one of those ones where it goes down to literally 1 goal in it.
Well, it's going to be difficult facing the Germans on penalties. You know that they are quite good at that. So yeah, not good omens for us.
You know what was really weird was Jill Roord seemed to be playing up top, which I thought was really strange.
No, yeah, because she's more of a midfielder, isn't she? She normally she's just a bit. But I think that Wolfsburg have pushed her even further forward. I know when she was with us, she was a bit deeper. But I think Wolfsburg are looking to exploit more of her attacking talents. It very nearly paid off for them. I mean, if it wasn't for Mane's intervention, she would have snapped a second in that second half. So it almost paid off in the end. But no, I agree with what you say, Matt. I think what was I don't say pleasing because there's nothing pleasing about going behind, but it's definitely a goal that can be rectified. It's definitely a goal that if you go back and go to the tapes and they analyse it with the team and go, right, you did this and you didn't do this and you did this, it's a goal that can be managed. It's a mistake that can be rectified. And I think that's what's sort of more pleasing about it, and also the fact that obviously it wasn't terminal. We were able to salvage it, as I'm sure we'll get to later. It's not a howl. It's just a slight miscommunication, a slight bit of lapse of concentration, caught flat-footed by the change of momentum in the move, and it's something that can be fixed, and I'm sure it will be fixed. I mean, we've seen that already this season. That we've blundered maybe in a certain game, and it's taken a few games, and we're better for it. So no, I will be positive over this conceding, unless of course it ends up costing us the time, but we'll see.
No, definitely. I mean, I did find when Wolfsburg were in our box, they were very suffocating, and that's where we kind of lost our defensive shape, and that's how do I put it? And that's how the ball basically went in the back of the net, because they managed to find that space and it just basically went in. How do you, Matt? I'm going to start with you because I've left you last for a few times now. But how do you think we responded? How do you think we've responded, like after going 1-0 down within like the first 20 minutes?
I mean, you go.
No, go for it.
Well, I just think that the fact that we let them score first in the first place a couple of times this season, this has happened, and we've been better for it. For example, Brighton, again Tottenham. It was just one of those things that it happens, and you want to see response and how the team responds. After that, we were fine. In the second half, Wolfsburg had about 4 or 5 efforts that could have quite easily gone in, but it was saved, it was blocked, it was hit the posts. So we had a little bit of luck, but it would be just one of those ones that I'd put down to as we've been managing the game better compared to what it was last season, especially against big teams like City and Chelsea, where we would have gone away with nothing. We've got 3 or 4 points, maybe even more from that. So this team is learning along with the manager. The manager is learning this team still, even though he's been in since the summer. And although I don't know whether this is true, some people are saying that some of these players aren't his players because they were brought in. Joe said that he wanted these players. They were brought before he even arrived at the club, which is, I think, an interesting if that is true, but still be one to.
I would agree with that one there, especially the summer signings. There's definitely an argument that a lot of the signings in the summer were not Adidas. The winter signings definitely were. There's been I've certainly heard of things like Paris when she was bought in, but I think it was in one of the Arscast episodes. They said, yeah, but she's not a pressing player. She's designed for something else. Iwabuchi definitely was a Jonas signing because he'd been after her for years, and of course, by the time she came, he'd gone. I do agree. I think there is an element of that. So it will be interesting to see how many of them can be converted to Adidas signings.
And do you know what? That's actually really, really interesting. So I didn't actually know that, but I still, a lot of people absolutely love Paris. They absolutely rate her, but for me, she hasn't quite cut it this season. I mean, she's meant to be this amazing goal scorer. Like, obviously, I've seen all the footage over YouTube. But anybody on YouTube can look amazing at playing football, but she just hasn't.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but she just. I lost my train of thought now. Thanks for that, guys.
No, you're right, because we mentioned Paris on the last stream, didn't we?
Yeah.
She's not really sort of hit the ground running at Arsenal.
No,
even in the short time that I've been watching, I've not really seen much game time. I think the only sort of time I've really seen her play was the Coventry game. And you made an excellent point about that. I said we are all learning here, especially me, and that's a really interesting point about the signings. I'm learning as we go along here.
Yeah, no.
I'm
definitely met on that one.
No, definitely. I think one player that did concern me in that first half it was Stina. There was a couple of balls she should have tucked away. I thought she wasn't getting into the spaces quick enough, and she was a bit slow. I mean, what did you think of her performance mid? Lee.
Meads.
I just noticed you've got Beth Mead's surname.
Yeah, right. I'm going to say, it's probably the quietest I think I've seen her. I mean, she's had a few efforts at goal, but they were. I think her touches weren't very. They weren't meaningful, if you know what I mean. I mean, I know I've got a few written down. There was sort of in response to the goal. I think it might be about here somewhere. So it's just that. And actually, this is complimenting the Wolfsburg defenders as well. And Arsenal, I think it's about 32 minutes there. There's through pass onto Stina, but the Wolfsburg defenders got so many numbers back. They dealt with it very, very easily, I felt. I think it was the story of her game, actually. But then we've got to bear in mind, she is only joined in January. I think this is Champions League, and the general standard of play for certainly what I saw was absolutely a different level. It was very eye-opening for me, I must say. From going to watch the cup game, like we just mentioned Coventry, to see an absolutely different class Wolfsburg side, I must say I was very impressed. It was, it's a big step up. I think she'll learn from it. She's only young as well. And she'll get better from that experience. That's generally, you see that in all Champions League football anyway. The pace is different. The way people set up is different. And, although it might not have been a positive experience on the night for her, I think she will learn from it.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's important to remember, Miedemar didn't exactly set the world on fire in her first season at Arsenal. She struggled with form. She struggled with injuries. She didn't really kick it. It was only in the next season when she was fully integrated in the side and knew the team well that she, just went up a notch. I think next season is when we will really see the best of Stina. I think we've seen good things over this season. I think next season, that's when we will see her really kick on.
You know what? Just to add on to that. Imagine if this team don't win the FA Cup, don't win the league, and don't win the Champions League this season. They come away with
pessimistic.
No, just to put it in there, I think the mentality of that team would turn around and be like, you know what? I think we've got something special here, but we can build on, and they'll be willing to go full throttle for everything next season.
Are you thinking the negatives will inspire them to?
We were like this close to winning the league by a point or something like that, and it'll be one of those ones where I think this team you can see where the direction is. Whereas at times you might question some other teams. You don't know where they're going.
Certainly felt that last season. I definitely felt with under Joe. I mean, like you said, with the PSG result and other results as well, there was an element of the plug being pulled out the bath. I felt there was just no energy and no fight in some of those games, and it was just sort of waiting for something bad to happen. I definitely think there's that spirit returned. And the scariest thing I think is this is the first season of Idabel, whatever you want to call it, and this is where we are right now. So this is season 1, and we're there. Where are we going to be in 3 seasons? Because we can only get better. This is the thing. If he's just got in for 5 seconds, has made us do this, well, what's he going to do with us when he gets a full pre-season? You know, he doesn't just get airlifted in at the back end of August and asked to basically his first game on the touchline direct to traffic is effectively the Chelsea home game. You know, that's what I'm excited about. So anything we get this season, in my eyes, is a bonus, and as a marker of, well, this is what we can do. So yeah. I'm totally with you. Next season, I think we'll see this team definitely kick on.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, it is very, very exciting stuff. We've been flying all season. I've preferred watching the women to the men, and that's like a massive statement coming out of me.
And quite rightly so.
But I'm going to quickly shoot over to these comments and see who's in the chat, because there's a few more people. Seeing Sketches has jumped in the chat. Can't say, but hello guys. Shout out to Lottie. She's lovely. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, big
I
shout out.
can verify this.
Just some cracking artwork. So yeah, absolutely.
No, definitely. I was the lucky winner of one of her mugs. It's now one of my favorite mugs, I should say. Favorite. What is going on with me tonight? But seriously though, guys, go check her out on Twitter. I think it's at Scene Sketches. Let me just pull her comment back up again. She's gone Etsy shop. She's done some amazing drawings of Saka and Martinelli. Do go and have a look, and if you like, just hit an order on the Etsy button. We've also got Riddy Sakar in here. Hi all, happy Friday.
Good evening, Riddy.
Hate weekends without the Arsenal.
Same here.
Yeah, we all did. We all did. We were all looking forward to a lovely weekend with North London derby, but now we've all got to stay at home. So not impressed.
Or go to our regular day jobs.
That is true.
5:30 start tomorrow morning, guys. Lovely.
I don't envy you at all.
I do that most times. You're not the only one. I'm used to that.
Evening to Ryan with the Mr. Arsenal podcast.
Evening, Ryan.
And it looks like Ryan's telling you off, Adam. Only positive vibes here. We got this WSL title.
What's been positive? Yeah, don't put the negative on me. Blame him.
I'm just saying.
You know what? I like casting a fishing line and cranking it in.
This season has been a whirlwind, and I don't think it's over by a long shot.
I've got Ryan, trust the Spuds to ruin our weekend. Yep, they have ruined our weekend. We did speak about that at the beginning of the show.
I'm going to stop eating jacket potatoes in protest, so no more Spuds for me.
And then put a really, nasty comment on Twitter about it as well.
Absolutely, that will show them.
There you go. Down with the Spuds.
So halftime came and went.
Did
and 4 minutes into the second half, Stina was disallowed a goal.
I was
Here we go.
Get your ruler out. Get your rulers and your pen and lines out, everyone.
One nice stat that makes this even worse.
Can you hold on to that for 1 second?
Go on, Lottie.
Stina sprinted forward. She took the extra touch to go around Short. I probably said that wrong. And then she went around Short before tucking it away over the line. But from where I was sitting on that halfway line, that was not offside. And I'll bring the image up in a minute. But Matt, do you want to give me your stat that you want to give me?
She's been offside 11 times this season in the Champions League.
What? No way.
She's got a bit of a forward about her.
4 goals, 18 attempts as well. 9 of them on target, 6 of them off.
Wow. That's actually an interesting stat. I actually didn't know that.
It's all on the Champions League website.
Oh, no, well, we're going to call you Stat Matt from now on.
Yeah. You shouldn't have revealed your secret there, Matt. You should have kept quiet.
Stat Roberts.
Yeah. Right, so I got Adam to send me a picture earlier. It's got one of his lovely big black lines on it, and it still doesn't look offside to me.
It looked a bit wobbly to me.
And obviously, I was sitting at club level just above the clock, and that doesn't
Clearly
look offside
onside.
for me from the other side. So it looks on all sides. When we were talking about this earlier, Lee comes to me and says, "No, it's definitely offside." So Lee,
Yes,
the
mate.
floor is all yours.
Thank you, darling. Do you know what? I was in the days that I know there was no VAR in this, by the way, but in the days of VAR and Premier League and stuff, my first viewing of this was, I think it's offside. And then they slowed it down, and the picture was stopped. I'm sorry, mate. All right, I'm going to go with saying maybe it was a bit marginal, but hey, this is what's so good about this. We can have a nice civilized discussion.
Absolutely. And I was clearly jesting with the picture. It was a good yard and a half offside. There were
There you go.
as much as I want to redraw lines and change history, like certain people nowadays. No, it's definitely offside, and it's a real shame. I was off my feet in the stands. I was thinking, and then the flag came up, and
I was going to say late flag as well, but that's
I'm
the
all for
rule in the hat now, isn't it?
Do you know what? I am going to criticise that lineswoman. She was late flag all game. She was a nightmare.
Yeah,
she was just so slow.
I am all for the late flag though, because of the fact that you can use VAR to retrospectively allow goals that have been disallowed, and we've seen that in the Premier League that be the case. So I am all for the late flag. It's annoying and it's a gut wrencher, but you know for a fact, especially because we now have VAR in action, you know that whatever happens, this decision rather will be correct or corrected if it's wrong on the pitch. So no, it was a gut wrencher. It was a good ball by Walty, a good finish by Steiner. What it did give me was hope that, okay, we can get at this team. If our, she didn't need to be offside. I think what happened was, she took a ball in the air, knocked it back to Walty, sprinted on, and just didn't get the movement right and got caught out. But it gave me hope that we can get this defense. If we get the ball right and we get the ball through the line, we could still get something here. So yeah, it was I know a lot of my people missed it because they were still getting drinks in the bar, so more for them. But no, it gave us hope for the second half, which I think we all needed.
I would say this as well. Sorry, lots, but I thought even before this offside goal, Stina did have another shot where she was on the left-hand side, and it just went sort of uncharacteristically for her finishing, went a little bit waywards.
Yeah,
like you very rightly say.
Yeah,
they started the second half extremely brightly. They had that chance I mentioned. Then this one here, it just gave us a hope for the rest of the half.
Yeah, admittedly, I was one of those people at the bar that missed that first one. I watched in 30 seconds before this was disallowed. So I missed that first bit because I didn't realise the game, because I didn't say that the game had started again until I looked at it. Then we said, "Oh, quick, outside."
You're too busy having the complimentary Camden. No,
actually, I was having a hot chocolate, if you must know.
But no, Lee, you're absolutely right. That was the one at the back post where she slid in, and you just think the keeper is exposed. You just think she's going to knock it in, and the connection was all wrong. It was a stretch, but I expected her to do it because I think she's good enough to score it. It was just one of those things, unfortunately.
It was across from Emirates for that, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it was. It was a great. I think it was Miedemar who pinged again a Miedemar pass, exposed the defence coming out, got Emirates in behind. It was like the first time we actually cut her open. Great cross ball, and it's just a poor connection, unfortunately, for Stina. It just wasn't her night in the end. The goal got chalked up because she was offside. She missed that opportunity. These things happen. You're not going to be, unless you're Vivian, except if you're Vivian Miedemar, most strikers don't have a score in every game. So no, it's unfortunate, but just again, she'll learn from it. As Lee said, she'll learn from it. She'll be better from it. Hopefully, she'll have her shooting boots on when we go to Wolfsburg.
Oh no, definitely. I hope she does, and I'm hoping Stina has hers with her as well, because I'd love for her to get a goal. But those stats are very, very stacked against her at the moment, thanks to Stat Matt.
Thank you, Stat Matt.
Matt, what did you think that was a straight offside?
Just looking at it, that first time I thought it was offside, but it was marginal. I would have said it was only a couple of centimeters out of it. But honestly, that gave me optimism. I was like, all right, okay, if this is how it's going to go, we're going to go at them now and give them a proper good game. We're not going to go and fold in on ourselves. We're going to have the mentality to go forward and try and win this, get something from this, which is always good to see. In the past, again, it's times when it's 1-0 and they take these sorts of games. Anything is possible, like the Barcelona, where it just all falls apart. It's just one of those where I was kind of happy that we got back into it and we'll getting chances after chances after chance. Again, Wolfsburg were a bit lucky throughout the game, hitting the post, getting blocks left, right, and centre for their shots. So it was. If I was watching this as a non-Arsenal fan or a Wolfsburg fan, I would have been fascinated by it, and I would have been encouraged to watch this. Yeah, some of these Champions League games have been real crackers, and I think a lot more people will be interested in them by now because of that exposure that they've got.
I would say actually, I'd say all the quarterfinals, not just Arsenal. I would say that the Real Madrid Barcelona game, great game, had interesting drama. You had PSG Bayern, a good game. Also, shout out to Joe Montemurro. I mean, I know we had our ill feelings about. I know we had our differences about him in his final season, but he's gone to Juventus and he's beaten Lyon. I mean, shout out to him.
Fair play.
For that. Fair play to him. I think we should all tip our hats to him because I didn't see that coming. I mean, they were helped by a red card, correct decision, obviously, but Juventus ruined that game, from the off, and they deserve great credit for what they've done, and they've set up a cracking second leg in Lyon. So whilst I will obviously watching Wolfsburg, I will be keeping a crafty eye on that one as well, because that's definitely one to look out for. If they can topple, because they're hosting the final, if they can topple Lyon, then obviously all bets are off. But yeah, definitely, absolutely.
No, definitely it'd be interesting. I mean, I've watched that game back, and that was a good game. It was a very, very good game to watch. I've still got to watch the Madrid game back yet, though. I want to watch that because of the drama.
I've got 2 other games to watch, so you're not the only one.
Not enough hours in the day, is there, mate?
No, there's not enough hours in the day at all. So you limit yourself to one a day. It gets your football fix is missing.
Fix,
yeah.
You make us sound like addicts.
It is. It's football. It's football.
This is why we're all here.
I'm Adam.
The Arsenal Addicts Association.
Hello, I'm Adam, and I'm an Arsenal fan. Hi, Adam. I've been an Arsenal fan for 20 years.
So 61 after that goal was disallowed, as Matt was saying, we basically turned that game around. It fired them up. Like they wanted a goal. But 69 minutes, Beth Mead had a collision with a Wolfsburg player, and she picked up a yellow, and she's now suspended for the away leg in Wolfsburg. I'm actually I'm going to give this one to Adam. Adam, who do you think is going to come in for her in Germany? Who's going to take that spot?
It's a good question. We could get a wheel to spin, a roulette wheel, and just see where it lands. Who's going to be quickest? Who's going to be luckiest? There are a number of prime candidates that we could have for your replacement Mead. I probably wouldn't go Paris. I think she's better off on the bench. Wouldn't go Heath. I think Heath's impact is better off the bench. I think she's played better for Arsenal when she's come off the bench instead of when she started games. For example, Man United, when we were Man United at home, I don't think she had the impact that she needed. I think when she came off the bench against Man City, she did. When she came off the bench, as we'll find out in this game, she had an impact. So I would keep her on the bench for that, because I think we'll need her as the game progresses. I would probably go forward. I'll probably go forward, and she can come in, because I think she's found some form. She's found some form.
Form on the
field. Yes, she's definitely found some form since coming back from the Asian Cup. She looks more like the player we saw last season. I think she even addressed it in one of her programs recently. She said that she'd had some injuries coming into the season. She knew she wasn't the forward we knew and knew could do well. But she's come back strong, and I think she will take up that berth on the flank. The only other player possibly would be Iwabuchi if she's fit. But obviously the question marks around that. So no, I'll go forward and partner her with McCabe on the other flank, and then obviously the usual Steiner and Miedemar. And of course, with the no Northern derby, we can give them a full, week and a bit rest. So they should be fit and firing and ready to go.
Yeah, no, exactly. Matt, would you put someone different there, or would you go with Caitlin Ford?
See, this one's a harsh one. I read before the game that Caitlin was injured. Amanda was obviously injured as well. And Rafa was also injured. So it depends on how long the injury is. If the injury is only like something small, like a strain or something like that, so you're only out for up to 3 days. It is difficult. It depends. Do you want the technical skills of Mano Iwabuchi? Do you want Caitlin Ford to run in behind and try and cause them a lot of chaos? Would you even risk maybe starting Jordan Nobbs and maybe putting someone else further or forwards?
Oh, that's a good shout.
Good shout there. Fair shout there. Fair shout there for Nobbs, absolutely. She has operated the wing before.
Experience. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just one of those things. I think, as Adam said, it's almost like a Russian roulette wheel. You could probably have as many guesses, but you probably won't know because Jonas is the only one that probably knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. The thing is, like I've said this to G. Like, there's no matter what we do, we will never predict the same starting 11 every week because we just won't see it. We've got so much depth to the bench. Well, on the bench, it's just it needs a fair rotation.
I would say that I did predict the starting lineup for the Wolfsburg game correctly.
I was going to bring that up.
You did.
I've even written it.
Gold star for you.
No, look, right at the top of my notes here, I've written what you said.
just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Okay. You've got that. Well done.
Gold star for you, mate.
It's a trophy. A trophy that Spurs would be proud of.
They haven't even got that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. I forgot what I was saying now. Brilliant.
So I think you probably got to say, Lee, who would you put in instead of?
Yeah, go on then, Lee.
Nicely done.
That's all right. I'll help her out. Of course, I'm a co-host, right? Just for argument's sake, I really like what Heath's done, and knowing what Lottie's told me, knowing what I know from G's told me a little bit as well. I really liked her impact off the bench. I get what you're saying about an impact player off the bench. I quite liked what I saw from the bit that I've seen. I'd probably go Heath, but
fair enough.
I like the arguments for Jordan as well because of as far as experience goes, she's been at the club since about 1888, I believe. So
close.
And you know what I'm saying? She's been around since day dot, even way back when I would have sort of seen it initially. So like in the old days when you see the old FA Cup game.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting call on the day.
Definitely. I'm going to quickly whiz through these comments because they're still flying in. Ryan has said, give Matt his own segment. Statman Matt.
He's the stat man.
Even got a theme tune as well. There you go, Matt.
There you go.
You're sorted, mate.
Royalties, sorry. Can't do that.
We've got Tom in the chat. I don't think they have VAR at Meadow Park.
No, they don't. Nope. That's why it's the Emirates Stadium, because they've got VAR. So
they were testing it out, aren't they? They're testing it out for next season.
Oh,
that's interesting.
I hope not. I don't.
Can I just say I am pro VAR, providing it's used correctly and the sensible people using it. I'm not against VAR. I'm against the people who are using it because I watch rugby union and they use it superbly well. So
efficiently as well.
It won't be in the WSL. It'll just be in the Champions League. It won't be used.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine by me, actually. Do you know what? That's fine by me. Like, as long as the thing is in the men's game, it's the lines and the rules are so blurred and people don't know what they're doing. And that's why I'm so anti-VAR. We've had some awful calls this season, and it's I hear VAR. I'm like, no, don't want it. Go away. But if it can be used correctly in the Champions League, fine.
What we should say is that the refereeing in the refereeing,
You've now got tongue twisted, tongue tied like I have. I'm glad it's not me. It's just me tonight.
Yeah, no, I've got it off you, Lottie. The refereeing in the WSL has not been good this season, and has been good for some time. We know it's weak. So, as Emma Hayes, was very keen to make their point when we hosted at the beginning of the season. So, having VAR in will only make things worse because it's the same people who are using it. So. The whole thing is obviously make the rest professional, get them proper training, make them into proper professional rest like we get in the men's game, improve them before bringing all this extra technology in. The one technology I want introduced is goal line technology because that is automated. It's taken away, because there's been a few goals where certainly in the Man United Reading game, I think it's Man United Reading.
I saw that. I saw that live actually.
I have got a story. Sorry, I'll let you all finish.
Did a Frank Lampard, and thankfully they actually knocked it in the end. But that's an example of that's tech we do need. Anyway, over to you, Statman.
Yeah, so I was at the Villa Everton game earlier this season, and Everton actually scored, and apparently the Villa analysts they were going through the entire game, and they found out that the goal had actually been scored. Everton had actually scored, and it gone past the line. But obviously, because they didn't have the goal line technology, it wasn't allowed.
Oh, right. So it has happened more than once. Well, there you go.
Yeah. We've got that. Will be the next big step. Will be the goal line tech. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Just need grounds that are compatible with it.
Oh no, exactly. I mean, well, as you said, you've hit the nail on the head. I can't add to that, I'm afraid. But we're gonna get to the highlight of the game now. At 88 minutes, lots of boy.
Here we go.
Brilliant. I've actually had some controversial opinions on this. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think from what I've seen on Twitter today. It's been unbelievable. So Tobin Heath drills her free kick low and hard into the box, straight to the feet of Lottie, who lashes it past Scott. And I don't know about you, Adam, but I was out my seat and I was jumping and screaming my head off.
Yes.
We
could hear it on the telly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
About 2 blocks over from
me. Pretty sure I could hear you at the other end of the stadium.
We started singing to the Wolfsburg fans that were sitting there singing the whole game. You're not singing anymore. The lowest fan joined in.
The singing that we're not allowed to do.
Yeah, no. We were telling them they weren't singing because they were singing throughout the game. They were split into 2 groups where I was in the middle of them. There was one I think it might have been in 59, and then there was one in the block in 62 for the Wolfsburgs fans. And they were singing, and then the Arsenal fans all turned around and said, "You're not singing anymore because we scored." And it was just such a I was so excited. Obviously, that was my first official goal. I've seen Arsenal score as going to a women's game. Because obviously we lost. My first game was Barcelona. We lost 4-0. Yeah. That was my first Arsenal goal, and I went absolutely crazy. I mean, Adam, what did you do when that went in?
When you had the FA Cup final.
Yeah, we didn't win the FA Cup. No, we didn't score in the FA Cup final.
We didn't score. We didn't score. We didn't score in that.
No, I meant as in general. First game.
Oh yeah, no, the FA Cup was my first game, but Lottie's goal was the first goal I've seen us score in person rather than just on the screen. Yeah. So I just went absolutely insane. Sorry, Adam. What was your reaction when you were sitting there?
So there's a few interesting things just around the whole thing. So in terms of singing, it's very interesting because I was sat behind Maria for the whole game, and no one told her not to sing, and I was getting all the chants from behind me because she was sat right by the door, sort of A1, so right far back, right by the door, and she was singing all her songs, and no steward was coming over to her to tell her to be quiet. That was for sure. So no.
Oh, brilliant.
Well done for her. No, the free kick was interesting. So I was sat next to someone opposite work, and they're very passionate about football, and they were supporting Arsenal because obviously they were the home team and obviously wanted to make me feel better. The free kick came up, and I was like, "Oh, come on, let this be the moment." And Heath took it, and he was like, "Waste," because it got wide. And then it's like there's that brilliant half second where it's like, "Oh," and then Lottie picked up the ball. Well, we didn't know it was Lottie, but we knew someone had got the ball in space, and we're like, "Well, this is the moment." Yeah, exactly. This is it. This is the moment. It's all or nothing here. This is it's equalizer or it's going into row Z. It's all on the line here. This half second, and she smashed in top corner, and boom, the stadium just exploded. It was absolutely fantastic. And of course, after the Steiner thing, there's just that bit in the back of your head thinking, when's the offside flag going to come up? Is it going to happen? And then the moment, obviously, the players kick off, yep, it's a goal. Fantastic. We're level. What an occasion. What a moment. This is a brilliant result. Fully what we deserved. I would say we definitely had enough. We created enough chances to warrant having an equaliser, even if they weren't so clear cut. I would say Wolfsburg probably had the better chances. They'll be kicking themselves they didn't get anything out of it after their double post action in the second half. But after that, I thought we had the better chances, and this was just. It's what we discussed earlier. It's the Spurs away. It's the Man City away. It's the Man United at home. It's this. It's the fighting spirit that we've been crying out for with this team. That not to just roll over when they go one goal behind. I mean, it happened against Barcelona, but Barcelona is Barcelona, and this is why I thought that it would be a draw. That even if we did go behind, we would be in touch enough that we could actually get something from it. Unfortunately, it took us 89 minutes, so there wasn't time for a winner. What I was pleased about is that we got the equaliser. We didn't lose the game trying to win it, as Wenger would say. There's been many Arsenal games where we've got the equaliser, but right, excellent, and then we go and they go and do one the other, and it's like, oh, we've lost it all over again. So thankfully, a 1-1 draw with no away goal rules, a really good result to take away from the Emirates, and a brilliant dramatic moment. And I would say I threw this stat on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it's correct, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But Lottie Wubben-Moy is the first Arsenal women to score a Champions League goal at Emirates Stadium. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'm pretty sure.
I believe that's right.
Yeah. So if you were a betting person to look at the starting 11, thinking who's the person that's going to score the first goal, I doubt Lottie Wubben-Moy would be the one. But I can't think.
No.
Maybe Leah Williamson, but I can't think of a better person to do it.
Yeah. With that question, I wouldn't even look at the back line. I would be looking midfield up front.
Yeah,
wouldn't even consider the back line at all. Unless it was McCabe.
Yeah, unless it's McCabe. It's always the ones you least suspect. It's the odd things like, the last goal, Champions League goal scored at Highbury, Kolo Touré. Of all the people, of all the players, so
wow.
It's always the ones you least suspect. So, and I can't think of a better person to have that accolade, because we know Lotta is Arsenal. The Highbury's encoded in her DNA. Her blood bleeds red.
Yeah.
Well, most people do. But it's. But she is Arsenal. She had Arsenal lullabies, which gets mentioned every single time the commentators bring her name up. But yeah, she's Arsenal through and through, and it was, I feel, just a beautiful thing for her, because ordinarily she wouldn't be in the team. If Rafa was fit, she'd be on the bench. She's only starting because we couldn't start our preferred left-sided centre back, so she was drafted in. And my worry going into it was, I just hope she doesn't have a gaff, she doesn't have a worry. It was her pass to Lear that led to the goal, and you just think, will she be all right? And I think, in fairness, after that, I think she had a pretty solid game. I think she brought the ball well from midfield, and it came to her, and it's just that moment she came thinking, it's number 3, is it? It is. It's Otter. Oh, well done. Jolly tough for you, mate. Congratulations. So no, absolutely, and you can see that roar in her face when she scores. Which looks even better when it's played to Titanic music.
We've made TikToks to that, haven't we?
100%,
haven't we?
So just an amazing occasion, and one to add into the annals of sort of history of the Emirates Stadium. Just that moment, and that'll be photographed and that'll be put on a wall or somewhere. My only regret, and we may get onto this into more detail later on, is that I just wish there'd been more people to witness it. That was the only thing. We didn't even fill up the East Stand. It was only 5,000 people. For such a momentous occasion, it deserves a bigger crowd. But for those who did go, and fair play to, and I include myself and Lottie in this group, obviously. We made the effort, and it was, we were able to go, and it was an amazing moment. And I left the stadium feeling a lot better than I had 5 minutes ago, and was very positive about, well, firstly the weekend, which obviously hasn't happened, but also the second leg. I felt we controlled the game very well. We weren't going gung-ho and trying to rush the play and storm up field and leave ourselves exposed. There was a structure, there was a plan. They followed it. They eventually got the goal. Things they can improve on is definitely in the final third, getting those passes through. There's a lot of passes that were cut out. They didn't have the accuracy in to get the likes of Steiner through. Things they can work on, like with the defence, as we mentioned earlier. I think if they can do that, they've got a chance at Wolfsburg. I did say in the previous show, I think Wolfsburg will win, just because they've got home advantage and more experience. But I think this has shown it will be a closer game than maybe we considered, and I think Arsenal will push Wolfsburg. I think that could potentially be the tie of the round next week, so definitely one to look out for.
Okay, that was really good, Adam. I mean,
Thank
Matt,
you.
Malia, you look like you're itching to say something.
I am.
Go
I'm
for it.
itching. I'm
Go on,
absolutely.
mate.
Matt,
Go,
I'm
go,
going to
go.
you to last again. I promise you'll be first next time.
What I thought, what a lovely moment for a true Arsenal person, for someone who wouldn't necessarily come play like every week. I'd like to think the reason she was playing is because Adam predicted the other day.
Yeah, Jonas clearly is tuning in and gone, that man knows what he's talking about.
He knows his stuff, you know.
Scratch BT, put in Lottie instead.
You got it. You got it. But I mean, and at the end of it, you know, 1-1 was a fair result. I thought.
Yeah.
So everything to play for second leg, and yeah, what a lovely goal.
No, definitely.
I mean, I would say this: it was clearly for me. Heath had it. I was going for the shot rather than the pass, but you know.
You know what?
It has been
In
mentioned.
a minute. I'll come on to that in a minute.
This
Go on, Matt,
team
go for it.
is so ingenious with its set pieces. You never know what's going to happen.
Oh,
again,
I love the spin on this.
I
I
go
love
back
it.
to the Liverpool game that I attended, and Katie's goal. Again, you just didn't expect it, and the fact that Katie's just hit it on the bounce. You've had three of them run it in and around. You don't notice it at the time, but you realise they're working on this on training week in, week out. So I think Tobin, as experienced as she is, she's gone to give the defender, right, I'm going to shoot. But she's actually made sure that it's a low pass so that Lottie can control it and shoot. Just on my initial reaction, I was literally sitting on the side of my bed going, God, shoot. Yes! I just going absolutely crazy for the next 5 minutes because it's a relief, and we were all going. I think we were all going in the same minds. Like we just couldn't believe that we'd equalised. That it finally happened. Again, the mentality of the team is right. Okay, can we go and get another one now? Can we try and push them, or can we make sure that we don't concede for the next 5-10 minutes? It was amazing, and these are the sorts of nights I went again. Tom, I'm really sorry that I wasn't there. I wish I was there because it would have been a great night to have witnessed the first time, because I could imagine that everyone would have been singing. The atmosphere behind these fans, even afterwards, was amazing. Manu having a bit of fun as well, screaming about Tobin. I don't know if you've seen that.
That was charming. That I saw that.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I saw that this morning. I thought, because where they posted it on Instagram, I don't normally go on there, and I usually scroll through all the Arsenal stuff first before I look at anything else. So when I got onto Instagram, Adam, I'm getting a shaking head there. What's going on?
No, you can't skip the Arsenal content. That's the only reason.
No,
to go
I
onto
scroll through
Instagram.
I skip everybody else, and I go to the Arsenal content.
Oh, I
first,
thought you
that's
said
what
you
I'm saying.
skip all the Arsenal content and scroll. Oh, right. I was going to
skip
say,
everybody else.
There's
My
no point to
Arsenal
Instagram
content
if you're skipping Arsenal content. I mean, what's on there other than that?
Exactly, that is very true. I'm going to quickly
Cats
whiz
and
through
dog
these
pictures.
comments.
Cat pictures, maybe.
We've had that one. Tom, Matt, did you go the other night? I've not seen you since the FA Cup final. Shame we couldn't all meet up tomorrow.
Yeah. Really wish that it had gone ahead, but these things happen.
Hopefully you can get down here for the reschedule, and then we can all have a pint on club level.
Or meet up at the Tollington, whatever's easier.
Yeah. Tom said, "Give us Manu." Ryan said hello to Tom. All got a question from Ryan. Do you think Tobin meant to hit it like that? This is really interesting because, as I said earlier, on Twitter, I had some mixed reactions to this goal. Some, as you guys said, it is a brilliant set piece, undercover set piece, I should say. But others said it was a complete cock up, basically, and it wasn't meant to happen. It was a complete fluke.
I can see it both ways. As journalists, mostly those who do not have a vested interest in Arsenal, were definitely suggesting that it was a mishit. I mean, it depends how you sort of see it. I mean, we were watching some of the corners, and some of the discussion we had was we should probably maybe hit them low, because expecting the overball. So hitting a low cross is not unheard of. Whether it's an idea of I'm going to hit the ball low into the crowd and hope something happens, or if it's a missed kick that's just happened to deflect off Lottie, and suddenly Wolfsburg are completely misshapen. I mean, there's only one person who really knows if that was intentional, and that's Tobin. And she's not going to tell us that that was a miss hit and Lottie bailed me out, is she? She's the only one who knows. So I think we have to the benefit of doubt and just say it's a really good set piece goal. And if it's a set piece and it leads to a goal, then that's fine. It doesn't matter in the end. It's immaterial. It's a set piece. It worked. It doesn't matter if it worked by design. I mean, often you get set pieces where it all goes wrong, but then the ball's in the back of the net anyway. And it's because it went wrong that the defense gets caught out and gets misplaced. Rather like how on our goal we got caught out because they pressed us and turned over. We weren't expecting it. It went wrong. That element of chaos, that element of difference, that's the fine margins in football. So whether she meant it or not, it's immaterial. What ended up happening from it is what created the goal. And I think, fair play.
Okay, Matt, Lee, have you got anything to add to that?
I've already said my piece. I think it's set. I think it's Toby knows what she's doing.
Sorry, I mean, she's not 25 anymore, but she's just an absolute incredible player, and I absolutely adore her. I think she's absolutely brilliant. And I know my other favourite person who's just dropped into the chat, who is very late, by the way, Miss Regina.
Evening, Jay.
Yeah, between me and her, we are massive fans of Tobin. We think she's absolutely brilliant. Lee, anything to add to that? What do you think it was a set piece?
I think I already said it was clearly a shot for me, but it had a happy ending.
Well, that's all that matters.
I don't want to fall out with you, so I don't want that. But
I think just watching it back, the chaos makes it even more better. The fact that she's managed to get the touch and then she volleyed it. Everyone was saying hit it, and it's just one of those that you love to see.
Absolutely.
Oh no, completely. I remember standing there saying hit it, screaming my head off. I couldn't talk on Thursday after that because it was like the loudest I'd screamed my head off all night. And then
leaving the ground, my voice was all hoarse. I was like, I've never had this before. What's happened to my vocal cords? I'm producing otherworldly noise I've never heard before. I'm going to need to sleep this one off. And thankfully, I was able to shift it. But my words, I was screaming my lungs out.
That's me every single Arsenal match I go to. So it's a bit normal for me. So because obviously the atmosphere for the men's has now changed, and we're singing for the 90 minutes down in the clock end, and that's. Like, as much as I love Maria singing and all that, but we need a little bit more of that for the women's game, just a tiny bit, because obviously you've got that when I watch the games, like you always got that guy at the home games. I'd love to know who he is. Yeah, and he starts the singing. He sits right under the cameras. And he starts with the singing. Well. Yeah, and you just hear his voice come across. I thought he was sitting in the block next to me. But I was like, no, it's not quite his voice. And there was a guy that was downstairs that had the same voice that started singing the Arsenal song. That was up closer to the North Bank corner, because that's where another portion of the noise was coming from. But overall, guys, what were your thoughts on the second half? I thought we were a different team when we came out. High pressing, the creativity was a lot better. We was always in the game, even after those two shots they had and hit the post. For me, it was the subs who changed the game, and it is Tobin Heath. She is that game changer, as Adam said earlier. But I'm going to go to Lee first. What were your overall thoughts of the second half?
Overall for the second half, I thought we came out blocks very, very quickly, but we mentioned, and I thought it was a much more positive start to the second half. And you know what, we didn't give up with it. We kept on going, and we can debate it all we like about the free kick. The equaliser was definitely deserved. Keeps us in the game for Thursday when we go away. Anything can happen away from home, especially with Arsenal. Hey, it wouldn't bet against the 1-0 win for the halfway. Yeah. That's what we do.
1-0 to Arsenal. It's most unlike us. I never heard us sing about that at all. It's not the Arsenal I know.
That second half, I think, instilled that Jonas belief that this team is going to places. And I think, again, it's going to be one of those ones where it's going to be either very close or it will be all or nothing. And to be honest, if we go to Wolfsburg and say we lose 2-1 on the night, I won't be disheartened because we've had a good ride and it's been amazing this season alone. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can go over and make sure that we make a good game of it. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
Adam, any final thoughts on that before we move on to the last subject of tonight? Before we wrap up,
I can only echo Matt's sentiment. I think we've shown that we can mix it with the big teams, something we couldn't do last season. Barcelona obviously will be anyone, so that they're an exemption. You take that out. Hoffenheim was a disaster for a variety of reasons. That again exceptional, but the Manchester Cities, the Chelseas, the Man United, and this game we have stepped up. We have stepped up to match their level. And Wolfsburg is a step up. They are a step up from They beat Chelsea. They scored 3 goals at Kingsmeadow and thrashed them and in their own back garden.
And they're top of their own league as well.
Indeed, they are top of the Frauen Bundesliga. So they are a very good team. They are a challenge, and we matched them. We matched them on the pitch. We matched them across matched across the park. We matched them in the score line. They had chances. We had chances. It was a very tactical clash. So I'm very excited for the away leg. As Matt said, it's not at their usual ground. It's at the Volkswagen Arena. That could play in our favour because they're not familiar with that pitch. So we'll see how it goes. It should be a really, really intriguing contest. And if we lose, we lose. They're a good side. There is no shame in losing to Wolfsburg. I want to see it. If we do go down, I want to see us go down with a fight. So if it's a 2-1, or a 1-1 and we lose on penalties, we go, okay, fair enough. We gave it a good go. I'm not expecting us to win the Champions League, but I want us to go and give it everything we've got and just see how far we can push it. So I'm excited for Thursday. I will be watching it from between my fingers for most of it because I'll be nervous as well. But I go there with hope that just maybe we could do something special.
Oh no, definitely, because I think we've spoken about this before. The teams like Barcelona, we need to be aspiring to be them because they are the best for a reason. I mean, you look at the teams of like Leon used to be in their position as well. So it's something to aspire to. As long as we fight, I think we'd all be happy with going out. The last thing I really want to talk about tonight is your player of the match for the game, and I'm gonna leave mine till last, but I'm gonna start with Matt. Matt, who is your player of the match for this game, or your unsung hero, so to speak?
Well, I thought about this long and hard, and I usually go for Leah because she's just amazing. She's been amazing all season, but this time I thought really hard about it, and I thought, you know what, Beth put in a hell of a shift. She was making sure that she was getting kicked. She was making sure that the referee was noticing that she was getting fouled all the time. And it's things like that where you know that you're impacting the game just by making sure that you get these fouls. Although she didn't contribute to the final result, but she tired them out really well. And she's a fantastic player. And this season alone, she's been amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's brilliant. I'm going to come to Lee next. Who's your player of the match?
I would say the one that I thought was outstanding for me, I'm going to go with Lottie at the back line. I thought not only because of the goal, defending in the whole game, maybe apart from one odd incident which we covered in for their goal. Not being sort of regular in the side. From what I've seen, I thought she did extremely well against a very, very good side. Okay.
Adam, who's your player of the match?
I'm going to be lazy and disagree with Lee. And for the exact same reasons. Because she scored the goal. She scored the goal. Ultimately scored the goal that made the difference. And yes, she was and for the same reason that she was involved in the goal, obviously the helpers went behind. And sometimes that can play on people's heads. That can raise a mentality that you can lose your cool. You can start to overthink things. You make more errors. But she remained focused. She didn't let anything else pass her for the rest of the game, and she was there in the crucial moment, and she didn't lose her composure. She made the difference. My second place would obviously be Heath because she did make a difference coming off the bench. But no, I will give it to Lottie. And I know it's the obvious answer, but for me,
Well, to me or Lotta?
Lottie and Lotta. You need to change your act to Lotta, and then to honour her scoring her goal.
I could do. I'll think about it.
No, definitely. I'll give it. I know it's the easy answer, it's the cop out, but I think she deserves it because she hasn't played as much, and I think she deserves the recognition. That for that goal. So no, for me, Lotta.
Okay, do you know what? I really like your guys' choices, but I've gone something different, completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I think she gets overlooked most games since she's come back from the Asian Cup. She's absolutely been brilliant. But correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
Mm.
But when we got her, she was one of the best left backs in the world.
Yes.
But since, as I said, since she's come back from the Asian Cup, Steph Catley has had excellent, consistent performances, and sometimes I feel like she's like overlooked and she's not rated by us as fans, because obviously you've got the normally when after a really good game, I'm always praising McCabe. We've got Heath, we've got Mead, we've got Vistenius, and I just think she's just slightly overshadowed by the way she plays. So for me, it's got to be Steph Catley. She did pick up a yellow during that game, but taking one for the team, I'm not too fussed about it. Yeah. Not too fussed about it.
Steph suffers from the awful position of being injured for most of last season, and her deputy getting player of the season, who isn't actually a fullback, is actually a winger who is deputising as a fullback. So she's had a bit of bad luck there. And she didn't have that like Ford. I don't think she had the strongest of starts to the season, but like Ford, since she's come back and since the Chelsea game, certainly, she looks like she's hit her stride again. It looks like it's all clicked back for her now, and she looks like she is the left back that we wanted to sign. Was it last year or the year before? So no, absolutely chuffed for her. Had a strong game, good from set pieces. Good delivery from the wings, good defending as well. I remember there was a moment when the ball was played in behind and she was having to face up at a one-on-one. She didn't commit or slide in. She held her ground, saw the danger off. So no, fair shout to Steph. And the advantage obviously now with Steph playing there is McCabe now has license to roam forward. So it works for everybody. So shout out to Steph. Thanks.
No, definitely. Right, I'm going to quickly whiz through these comments before we wrap up, guys. We've been going for nearly 90 minutes again, which is a record for me because normally I can keep these shows down to an hour, but chat has been that good.
It's been a good show, guys.
Good show, good crack.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I've just missed the comment. So G, I'm so sorry. I do apologise. Unfortunately, G has caught COVID. Yeah. Get better soon, my love.
Yes.
We want you to get better and getting you back up and running. Ryan wishing G a speedy recovery. Ryan saying Andrew that you've met before loves Tobin as well. Wants her to play in every game. I think with this, you got to remember she's not 25 anymore.
No.
And she's not going to be able to start every single game. And as we've all said earlier, she's better coming off the bench. I'd rather not risk her being injured because she's such a key player coming off that bench. G saying thank you to Ryan over and over again. Basketball evening, guys. Got the NLD is off tomorrow. Great game Wednesday. Yep. If you watch the show back, you'll be able to see our thoughts on the North London derby and also about the game. Catley always has a mistake in her, but she's been decent in recent weeks. She's come back on form. I'm happy with her. But every single player has it.
Yeah. Whenever you look at that 11, I think there's always players that you're going to not undersell anyway. And Noelle as well. She's been amazing all season.
She's consistent. Yeah. I'm glad we've got cover for her now with Weinreuter, but Weinreuter's not going to overtake Maritz the starter. Maritz has been solid. The only thing that would let her down is fitness from overuse. So if we keep her fresh, she'll be golden. So yeah, absolutely. I think it's Maritz ex Wolfsburg as well.
Yeah, she's played for them for 7 years. I read that this morning. I was like, wow.
Champions League with them.
And she will know. She will know that when we go back over there, she will be a useful ally to have. Just insider knowledge.
Definitely. I think I looked at her what she's won with them. She's had like 7 Bundesliga titles over there and Champions League titles, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that. But I learn something new every day when I'm doing the show.
School day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right, guys.
It's a learning curve.
Yes!
Yeah, that's it. That's my
Slap
my hashtag. That was my hashtag. And last comments. Maritz was brilliant on Wednesday. Yep, she
Yep,
was
amen to
absolutely
that.
fantastic.
Amen to that.
Absolutely fantastic. Right, I'm going to wrap up now. Lee, when can everybody find you on the socials?
You can find me all over the social media at Gooner Lee Meads. That's on the Twitter. That's on the Insta. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Adam?
You can find me on Twitter at the handled listed on the video here. But if you're listening on the Catch Up podcast, it's at Adam Salter 4. Likewise on Instagram. And if you like some very naff and very lazy women's football edits, you can also tune into my TikTok, which is Adam Salter 93.
Oh, I might have to give that a follow because that's the one thing I haven't followed. Matt, where can everybody find you?
So my Twitter is at MattsLR28. That's just on Twitter. I try not to do Instagram or anything like that because no one wants to know what I've been up to.
Oh, come on, Adam. I'm sure we all do.
Adam?
Especially when it comes to
Adam,
news.
I'm Adam. He's Matt. read the labels. Read the labels. Bad enough that I get blamed
Sorry,
for
my
pessimisticity,
glasses-
but now I'm
my
being labelled
glasses
for
aren't
someone
working.
else.
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I mean, I called Lee Meads earlier, so I'm having a great bloody
I
day
noticed that.
tonight.
It's all worse.
Okay, guys, thank you for everybody who's tuned in and commented. And we will see you next Tuesday. So sure you tune in next Tuesday. I've got a bit of a special announcement coming up for next week. And I've got to say, me and Lee are very, very excited about this. The guys on the screen don't know what it is yet. So I will see you Tuesday, guys. Have a good evening.
Keep
See you
chatting.
Tuesday.